I'm a professional. I train each and every day. I do my recovery. I mean, I do everything right, or I try to do everything right. So this whole quarantine, I think by the time the U.S. comes back together, I'm just not going to know the difference.
And what about you, Dominick? What was the training camp like for you? This happens to be an unprecedented situation that you're in.
Yeah, I mean, I've been rehabbing my shoulder for the past few months anyway, so realistically, I was already training really hard to go back to atrophy and everything else that I needed to do. So I was already training hard. And then Jeremy Stevens had a fight coming up with Calvin Kattar, or Qatar, and I was helping him train for that about 2 weeks before this card got slated. So I was already training pretty hard with Jeremy, sparring him and just helping him prepare, doing the same workout too. So that was like actually led right into this camp. So I technically had about a 6-week camp for this one, which happened to be plenty enough to be in shape for 5 rounds.
What do you think it's going to be like fighting with no audience? That's got to be weird, right?
Kind of. Well, I mean, I think the silence might be the weird part, realistically. But if you they don't make a lot of noise, so it could be like that. Also, when you train in the gym a lot, I don't have a lot of people in the gym, especially now in the quarantine as you're training. We've all been having to train with minimal people, like 4 to 6 people max in the gym, so that nobody's getting contaminated. And it's been pretty silent in there, so I think it's gonna resemble training in the gym, and also similar to the Ultimate Fighter, except we had all the fighter. It was still somewhat kind of eerily quiet. So there's a few different scenarios that I've been in where it's going to resemble this, I believe.
All right, thank you so much, guys.
Once again, that is *1 to ask a question. Our next question comes from Damon Martin with MMAfighting.com.
Hey guys, first question for him. About that with the Aldo fight, you talked about it with other fights. Where does Dominick Cruz rank in terms of legacy, in terms of your legacy? How big is this fight for you for that, considering most people consider him the greatest bantamweight of all time?
Yeah, well, I think every fight that you have is your most important fight, right? So, like I said, man, I wouldn't put him above. But I put him up in top 3. But my last fight is always my greatest fight, and I do respect Dominick's skills. I do know that he has. I do know that he's tricky, and I plan for that. But I think the difference between me and everybody else is I don't ever fight everybody the same. I'm that type of guy that can make adjustments. So the way I would rank them is every fight's the greatest fight for me. The greatest fight that I could be.
Henry, there's a lot to be said about ring rust in this sport, but we have precedent with Dominick when he came back off a long layoff and he beat Takeo Mizukaki. He came back off another long layoff and beat TJ Dillashaw. So he's proven that ring rust doesn't necessarily affect him. But what do you expect, coming into this fight off, a 3-year long layoff? Are you looking for those kind of things?
Oh, do I? Yeah, that's what I expect. I expect the best Cruz. I expect the reason why Dominick has been successful is because of his grit. Because it is, I will say this is because of his mind. But I also see a lot of flaws in there too, technically. So I know he's a tough challenger. Fights like that, it makes you smart. It gives you a good MMA IQ. But I just think he's going up against a dude that's just hungrier, stronger, that's in his prime, and I'm just on a rampage, man. It's like when I first started wrestling. I wasn't doing as great in the beginning into the international stage, but once I got my feet wet, man, I shocked the world. And it's no difference with wrestling and mixed martial arts.
Obviously, you're not the matchmaker. You're going to be the guy to find a fighter who they put in front of you. And I know your focus is 100% on Dominick Cruz, but I know before this you were going to fight Jose Aldo. What do you say to the guys like Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling and Corey Sandhagen who all want a chance at your title, but there's not a direct line to you right now. If you get through Dominic, you might fight Aldo next. TJ Dillashaw comes back early next year. Like, what do you say to the other contenders in the division?
They're kings. Wait for the king of town to bend the knee. Aljamain Sterling got knocked out, but knocked out. Wait in line. And then Peter Yan, he needs to learn better English. He absolutely sucks. And you can't be a 41-year-old and expect to get a title shot. That's just ridiculous. I'd rather fight somebody that hasn't fought in 4 years, like as in Dominic, if you choose those two.
You so much for doing the things you've done and proving people wrong again and again, coming back off injuries and doing the amazing things. But where does this fight rank in terms of your legacy, considering what you've had to go through to get back here and knowing what Henry represents as obviously 2-division champion, Olympic gold medalist, all these things you've achieved? Where does this fight rank for you in your career?
Well, I mean, it ranks up there as another history. And all the things that we have, it's more about how you can make a difference in these times when you have a platform. So I look at this as a time where I can make a huge difference. Like, what's the value of champions belts or Olympic gold medals when there's 33 million Americans that just filed for unemployment benefits? They can't feed their families since mid-March. 2,417 Americans died in the United States. There's no vaccine for COVID. So I've been in the question of what's the value of belts or even Olympic gold medals unless we can use it to make a difference in the lives and the service of humanity, essentially, really. The leader that made a difference for me in this way is Muhammad Ali. He was willing to give up the belt, possibly go to prison for 5 years to stand for what he saw as world peace. So that put me in the question of what's my purpose in all of my accomplishments. Thinks that they're not a champion, and let them know that regardless of what everybody says, regardless of what everybody's credentials are, none of that matters if you believe and if you want it and you have a bigger purpose than yourself, just what you have, and just holding up your belts to everybody and saying, I'm better than you because I have this thing. How about, every single person out there gets to do that if they choose it, whenever they want. And I'm going to stand for that after a 3-year layoff again, when everybody says ring rust exists.
It's not.
Well, to that point, Dominic, my last question will be that you've proven it time and time again how you've been able to come back from these injuries and look good and look great in these fights. What is it do you feel like separates you from other guys? Because it is true, we have seen guys struggle off layoffs and time off and things like that. How have you been able to do that multiple times?
Well, I mean, it's about making sure that you prepare yourself the right way. I lived
First time something like that.
In a shape still. I enjoy training. It's like a livelihood for me. It's just how I like to live my life, is in shape, feeling good, and training hard. And really, transformation is a public event, so I'm constantly trying to transform in my life. And this is the place to do it, is on a stage in front of, the first sports event to ever happen. This is the stage where transformation happens. Every athlete on this card is putting themselves in a vulnerable position where they can be beaten or win. And what's winning if there's no thought of losing? So all this comes together to create a lot of fire, and I'm excited for it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Well, you better start unemployment checks. I'm taking your ass out.
Yeah, cool story, Henry.
Dominique, you know I'm the real deal. You know I'm coming. You ain't getting past 3 rounds.
Yep. And I know you're going to have a hard time finding me, little man.
And you're going to remember that. You're going to remember that, princess.
Okay. We'll see, man. When you're in there missing, you're going to find out real quick the difference and the amount of rounds I got in there over you. I got hours in there over you, little man. You're a wrestler. I'm about to prove that and expose you real quick.
You just try not to break a nail, princess. You just make sure to make it on midnight.
Tom, at the
You're just coming back from surgery after a year. Have you ever done that? Nope. I've done it several times, and I've proved it.
I'm the bantamweight champion of the world, and I am the greatest combat athlete of all time.
We'll see about that. Yeah, well, there you go, flaunting your credentials again, but none of those mean anything, because how do you make a difference for anybody but yourself? I had the belt for 10 years. I've been the.
You have a
many times in 10 years, and you know what? I have more title fights than you as well. So remember that too. All you got to do is look at the numbers, Henry. You're catching up still, bro. You could win 3 more title fights and still be catching up.
Well, you prove it to me, Princess, on May 9th, because on May 9th, like I said before, I'm serving gold.
I don't have anything to prove. I'm just going to beat it out of you. You're going to embarrass yourself trying to fight me.
I hope so, Prince. That's what you said last time against Cody.
I have no power in the pack. I power right here, right now.
I'm another animal on top of that, Dominic. I'm a whole nother
What happened with you? What happened with you and Benavidez? What happened with you, Demetrius Johnson? You lost to both of them. I haven't lost to you.
4 years ago. That was 4 years ago.
You lost.
That was 4 years ago.
It was 3 years ago I lost. So there you go. Here you go. If you want to talk about past, there you go for you. I got some proof and why I'm going to smash you.
I came back and I beat one of the greatest of all time.
And I'm about to come back and smash just a little turd who thinks he's better than he is. You're a 25er and I'm going to prove it.
You can try, Princess. You can try. Try not to break it now, Dominic.
We heard that already. You keep saying the same thing, nerd.
Exactly. Because you're brittle and you break everything.
Did you just come off of the surgery? Does that make you brittle? You're an idiot. Listen to yourself.
I'm strong. I'm cock strong.
Lauren, we can move on to the next question.
Our next question comes from Kevin.
I love you, Dominic.
Hey guys, thank you for that. Chuck, I have to follow. My question would be for Dominic. The first thing, Dominic, obviously the Dillashaw fight was a huge win for you in your career, and I know it was an emotional victory. If you were to win this title on Saturday night, do you think it would surpass it, given that you've gone through this a second time? Would it surpass the significance of it?
I think the win over TJ will be more because TJ Dillashaw is a true bantamweight, and Henry's still a 25er. So realistically, this isn't going to be as tough as a fight as TJ. I know that.
The physical accomplishment of getting your body back and doing everything that you've done, having had to do it a second or a third time, will that add to it at all? With respect to TJ, the fact that you're getting your body back to that kind of level, will that have any added significance?
Well, I never said I didn't respect Henry. I said that it was going to be not as tough as a fight as it was against a true bantamweight in TJ Dillashaw. So don't twist my words, please. I do respect what Henry's done as a yeah, you did. I do respect what Henry's done as a martial artist. You can't take that away. But I do believe that TJ is a true 135er and that Henry is a true 125er, and he'll go back down to his division after I beat him.
And, after you had your fight with Cody, you gave one of the most amazing speeches I thought that I've ever heard an athlete give in the UFC, especially after a defeat. And I wonder, was that when you look back on it, is that kind of the emotions you're feeling right now as you talked about, giving back, and you talked about how many people have lost their jobs? Is that sort of the same emotion that you're feeling as you felt then after that Cody fight, in terms of the way you approached that speech and the way you try to approach this fight?
Yeah, 100%. In that time, everybody in their life has lost something. And I think that was, as a fighter, as a champion who hadn't lost in so long, to be in that vulnerable position. It's bigger than me just making a bunch of excuses. It's about how can you, come up with something to give to the world with the platform that we have, to actually say something that matters rather than just basically vomiting on the mic. I mean, this is a platform we have. A lot of people listen to us. A lot of people like to hear what we have to say. And I think it's important that we use the platform for a bigger purpose. And that's what this is going to create.
Dominic, you should try out for Miss Universe. You sound like Miss Universe.
That's what this fight represents. It
Why don't
represents
you go
something bigger
sprinkle
than
some
just
flowers
me.
all across the world, princess?
Like I said,
And then, Dom, if I could,
go ahead.
Dom, if I could just follow up with one other question then. I know when an athlete loses, when you guys lose a fight, you want to get back and get in there and kind of get it. You've had to sit there with that loss for 3 years and haven't had the ability to get back and, avenge it against coach, beat somebody else. Has that gnawed you? Has that been difficult to deal with? That the last time you were coming back, you were coming off victories. This time you have that that red L sitting on your record for 3 years. Is that tough to deal with mentally?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't really look at it that way. I look at it as the past. Like, how many times have you made a bad article that you weren't happy with? I'm sure many, and it wasn't perfect. But do you sit and look at that bad article every day when you try to do this interview with me, or do you move on into the present moment and try to ask the best questions you can now? That's what I'm doing. I'm focused on the now, where my power is at, and I'm in very good shape. I feel like money right now. I'm heavy. I'm strong. I'm fast, and I'm lean, and I'm ready to go. So that's what I'm focused on. You don't focus on past stuff. There's no control there. What's the point of that?
Cool, thank you. And then I have one question for obviously Dominick was set the standard by which this division is judged by his wins over Demetrius and so many other fighters, Uriah Faber and whatnot over the year. What do you think you have to do to, for yourself to surpass him when people look back and they want to talk about you in this division like that? Do you feel it's a number of wins, or do you feel it's just particular names, beating the Aldos and those kind of people?
Yeah, no. Like, first of all, I know I'm going to beat Dominick. I truly, sincerely believe that and know that. My plan is not to beat him. My plan is to stop this dude. It's to stop everybody that's in front of me. Like, I'm not out there no more to just win by decision. I'm out there to put people. I'm out there to put people out. So the more I continue to keep doing that, the more people are going to understand that, hey man, this dude is. There's just no denying.
So in the past, you wanted to win by decision.
MMA don't have a Michael Jordan.
That's what you sound like.
They don't have a Michael Jordan of MMA. And I'm looking to do that.
I'm the Michael Jordan of 135.
I'm knocking people out, and that's it. And Dominick happens to be in my way, and I'm getting ready to execute him.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Bryce Miller with the San Diego Tribune.
Hi, Dominick. More curious what what are your important roots and connections with San Diego and why that place has become important to you, and then I'll have a quick follow-up.
Well, I was born in San Diego, but I was raised in Tucson, Arizona. So I was like from 2 years old until I was 21, I was raised in Tucson in that school system and in that lifestyle. But I've been here ever since I was 21 to start my professional mixed martial arts career. So it's a mixture. I've become a true professional here in mixed martial arts, but in Tucson is where I figured out who I was, growing up. This is where I found my roots, my toughness, my grit, my tenacity. It comes from Tucson. And so putting the two together has just made me, I feel complete as a man.
What's just more in general, as the world watches sporting events that are being canceled or postponed, it's so rare to have something that's live. You guys are kind of at the front end of that, trendsetters, or at least checking that terrain out first. Do you have any health concerns related to the virus being a contact sport at this point?
I don't. I mean, realistically, anybody can contract this virus. I think that's partially the point, is understanding that anybody on earth can get this, but you can't just freeze up when you see something that's scary. You got to just kind of take the precautions, be as safe as possible, but live your life. That's what I'm doing.
Best of luck. Thank you.
Our next question comes from Aaron Bronstetter with TSN.
Hey guys, this one's for Dominick. Dom, the circumstances for getting the title shot were a bit different. Obviously, relatively short notice, government restrictions, a great opportunity. But were those circumstances a turn off at all for accepting this fight?
No, not at all.
how were you trained adequately for it under these circumstances? I don't know if you're a year-round, ready to go type guy, or if there were anything you had to do to ramp it up a little bit in the previous weeks.
Yeah, I had to ramp it up, definitely. You go from not fighting to fighting a title fight, so yeah, you got to ramp it up. But I've been training with Jeremy Stevens than anybody in my division, so training with him and mixing it up with other small guys at the same time. I've got the speed of small guys that I get to work with and the size of big guys mixed together, and sparring with them round by round really pieces together a good camp. And I've had good training partners, and I got a good coach, and I've been here before many times. I've got tons of title fights, tons of time in that octagon. So
Henry, you look at your last 3 wins: Demetrius, TJ Dillashaw, Marlon Knight. If you win this weekend, would you still want to face Jose Aldo next? Because the win streak of Demetrius, TJ, Moraes, Dominick Cruz, and Aldo could potentially be greatest win streak ever, really, in terms of resume.
Go back and look at my resume.
I told Uncle Dana, I said, I ain't leaving after I beat up Dominique. I said, I'm going to be stomping on Jose Baldo's toes next. And then after that, that overgrown midget, he's next.
See, that's the best he can do with his platform. You hear that? It's so useless. Sorry for you guys.
Exactly, Dominic. Exactly.
Come on,
You'll
man.
be part of that.
Better, bro. You're better. You're better in the work.
I'm trying to be Miss Universe, princess. I'm here for purpose. I'm here. You better sign up for unemployment.
Why are you here? Why are you doing this?
Why am I here?
Your
I am here to be the greatest of all time. That's why, Dominic.
And then what?
Knock your ass out. That's why.
And then
knock you out.
And then what? Then when it's all over and you're retired. Then when you're all retired, you're just going to have your
keep knocking everybody out. That's it. That's it, Dominic. Dude, you're like, I swear to you, man. You're like, dude, you should try out for a pageant. I swear to you. Because your ass proved nothing.
All right, and finally, Dominic, a win this weekend, it would make it twice that you come back from a major injury to win a title. That's never happened in MMA, and I don't know if it's ever really happened in pro sports of any kind. Do you ever step back and think about how incredible an accomplishment that would be and the gravity of this?
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. It's like, anybody who thinks that stuff's that difficult, it equals up to anything that's ever been done, period, in sports. So that's how you become, legendary in this thing. I've already done legendary things in the division and in the sport. I got more than half my fights are title fights alone. And so just with, the murderer's row that I faced, Benavidez, Uriah Faber, TJ Dillashaw, Demetrius Johnson, I mean, the list goes on. With all these people that I've beaten, I cleaned up the division. I was ranked number 2 behind the number 1 pound man for a year, Demetrius Johnson, and I'd beaten him. So I've pretty much been pound for pound the best at one time in this sport. And, I've done everything you can do. And to come out after the layoff when nobody really gives you a shot and then just beat up at 125er, it's going to be fun.
All right, guys, thanks. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Lauren. I would like to thank Henry and Dominic for joining today's call. Media, stay on the line while we dial in the main event athletes.
What are you dialing?
day and welcome to the UFC 249 media conference call. Today's call is being recorded. At this time, for opening remarks and introductions, I would like to turn the call over to Lene Breckenridge. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Lauren. We now have Tony and Justin on the line, so we can open it up to questions once again.
Thank you. And once again, that is star one to ask a question. We'll pause for just a moment to allow everyone an opportunity to signal.
How you doing, Justin?
We'll take our first question from Jeff Wagenheim
I'm great.
with ESPN.
Great.
And Jeff, your line is open. Jeff Wagenheim with ESPN, your line is open. Take our next question from Jeffrey Harris with 411 Mania MMA.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. First of all, I just wanted to thank you guys for coming together and putting this fight card on. It's a very crazy, uncertain time right now, and I'm always grateful for the fighters, but the fact that you guys are coming together and fighting right now in a time where we're looking for distributors. And thank you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that.
First question for Justin. Originally, this fight was scheduled for April 18th. Did it set your mind at ease at all that you were going to be getting another few weeks to prepare for one of the biggest fights of your career?
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. 20 days is very short notice, but I've had 5 weeks to train, 6 weeks total. So I think, it's super necessary for me to mentally prepare. To fight someone like Tony, I gotta, prepare for some. I have to mentally prepare for that. You don't just walk in and be mentally ready. So this time has definitely allowed me that, and I'm definitely thankful I got it.
In question for El Kukui, Tony Ferguson, you made weight the weekend of April 18th, the weekend this fight was originally scheduled for. I was so impressed when you did that. I can't think of many fighters who would normally do something like that. But has doing that made it easier for you to kind of stay at an optimal way to get ready for this new date that was set?
I didn't think it was that impressive at all. Justin can vouch for this one too. When you're a wrestler, you make weight every weekend, and it just seemed like the right thing to do. There wasn't shit going on, so it gave somebody something to watch and look forward to. And it wasn't easy. I'll be real. I had my nutritionist or anybody with me to do it, and just handled it the way that I knew how to. And I took the reins by my own hand and just went out there and just fucking did it, man. Obviously, like I said before, we don't know if the fights would have happened if I didn't make weight or anything. There wasn't anything going on, so to me, it just made fucking sense, man.
And for Tony and Justin, this is called an interim title fight, but would either of you, after this fight is over, considering Khabib is not making it to this fight, and I guess no one sent in location?
Fuck Khabib. I want to be real. Sorry about cutting you out, Justin, but I want to say fuck Khabib. I'm defending my belt for the third time. This is for the real belt. This is not for an interim title. This is for the real championship shit, man. It's champ shit only, buddy.
Yeah, for me, this is the biggest fight of my life. The interim belt means for me that you'll be recognized as the number 2 man in the world. Because Khabib can't fight right now, so these are the 2 baddest men on the planet in this weight class fighting this weekend for the right to call themselves the best, and then ultimately challenge Khabib. I think we're fighting for the opportunity to represent America against Khabib, and that's what I'm fighting for.
I told Khabib to set it down and walk away. That dude's a bitch. The only real man out there right now is going to be me and Justin Gaethje. American motherfuckers.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen, and good luck.
Thank you.
For sure.
Our next question comes from Damon Martin with MMAfighting.com.
Hey guys, first question for Tony. Obviously, you had no intention of waiting. You wanted to fight Justin, but Khabib. It's a fight we've all waited for. But what was the mindset in taking a short notice fight against, we got to be honest, Justin's a very dangerous guy.
It wasn't short notice. I've been training for fucking 6 to 7 months. As soon as we found out we were going to fight Khabib, I was already training in December. So, I mean, obviously conditioning's there, strength's there. My body's completely changed. I didn't have a strength and conditioning coach besides myself. And I had my trainers actually push me through the ringer for every single practice. I mean, 12-hour days. I mean, seriously, man, it wasn't easy. But I made it happen. I'm very lucky to be able to have a fucking team. I'm ready for fucking anything, man. And I went in the Ultimate Fighter, and I won that bitch at 170 pounds, and it was a tournament. So it doesn't matter who you put in front of me. I'm going to go out there and do my best. Win or lose, I'm going to walk away a fucking winner.
You've already kind of mentioned it, but I got to ask the question. Everything goes well on Saturday night. Will you move on to something else? Are you even interested in rebooking the fight with Khabib, considering all the things that have surrounded that fight falling apart?
No, you can stop right there, bro. I'm not going to answer that fucking question. We weren't about UFC 249. The fight's with Justin Gaethje.
So with that being said, obviously we know what Justin brings to the table. He's an incredibly tough guy, huge knockout power. When you look at his game, what impresses you about Justin?
I don't know. Why don't you ask Justin what impresses him about me?
I will ask him that. But I'll ask you first. What impresses you about Justin?
He's got a lot of heart.
Yeah. You fought a lot of great guys in your career, so I'll kind of turn that question around to you. When you look at Tony, what does impress you most about Tony Ferguson?
Man, I'm a huge fan of MMA, and first and foremost, I think humans recognize effort, and I recognize he gives max effort, the tenacity that he brings to the cage. I'm looking forward to the storm. You know, I know that, for one, we get to put that's going to work this event. And we get to inspire people to not give up right now. You know, he, for me, you know, before I was fighting him, after I fight him, he's the epitome of an athlete, the UFC athlete. He loves violence. He loves carnage. And you know, this is a recipe for disaster. And I think we both want to be on that path.
I really don't like hurting people. I just go in there and do my shit. And unfortunately, they fucked up. My bad.
I pray every day that neither one of us get chronically injured. But one of us, you know, a fight is a fight, and people love violence. So that's what we do best.
And Justin, you know, you talked about your end goal is always to get to the lightweight title. Obviously, this is kind of a weird set of circumstances to get here. But have you kind of wrapped your head around that, you know, what it will mean, you know, to finally win that title if everything goes well for you on Saturday night? Because I know that's kind of always been the end goal. Everyone talks about the bonuses and the exciting fights, but I know your goal has always been to be champion.
Yeah, I haven't really crossed. My life doesn't exist after May 9th right now. Honestly, it doesn't matter. When the fight comes, there's only a few things that I can control. That's preparation, effort. The preparation's there. The effort will be there. And outside that, like I said, my life does not exist after May 9th right now.
Awesome. Best of luck this weekend, guys.
Thank you, Dan.
Sure.
And as a reminder, that is *1 to ask a phone question. Our next question comes from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press.
Thank you. For both Tony and Justin, you guys are known for being very popular fighters, ones that fans really get excited for, and there's a lot of energy in the arena when you guys come out. Have you guys, you know, just how do you envision for both of you the experience of going out there and there's not going to be that big crowd?
When I was in the Ultimate Fighter, it was the exact same thing. I mean, the only people that we had in the crowd was 2 sets of bleachers and our coaches. We had a couple cornermen and we had the commission right there. It's going to be exactly like how I was training the Ultimate Fighter when I was a part of Team Lesnar. Nothing's going to change. Nothing has changed, and we're going to keep doing the exact same.
And for Justin?
Both me and Tony grew up wrestlers. You never knew how many people were going to be in that arena, in the gym. It didn't matter. You know, a duel, sometimes no one showed up. So competition is competition. And I believe it's going to be much more of an intimate situation, as weird as that sounds. The fans are going to get to hear, you know, the shots. When we land our shots, they're going to hear that. They're going to hear the breathing. They're going to hear the talking from the coaches. So, yeah, man, I think again, I'm a huge fan of MMA. I can't wait to watch this fight when it's over because I know that it cannot disappoint.
For Tony, we've watched you pretty much, we saw you getting ready for April 18th, and then every time something has come up, you've just showed us you're just still eyes on the target, fighting, taking whichever opponent. People just want to know, how have you been able to stay focused amidst everything going on in the world, then of course in MMA? What's been the secret for you to just tune out everything, to be at the top of your game going into this fight?
Man, I'm not worried about anything else besides my game or what anybody else is going to do. We did all the preparation, all the hard work, the grunt work was done in the off season, and right now we're fine tuning and we're feeling fucking great. I just got done with a nice ass warm up. Took me a couple hours, and I'm feeling great, dude. We got here yesterday, ran almost 6 miles, and we got acclimated to Jacksonville, Florida. Can't wait to put a fight.
And finally, for Justin, earlier this year, we were thinking you were going to be on the outside looking in while everything gets sorted out with Tony Khabib, with everything else. Now, you have a great opportunity to almost flip the entire lightweight division upside down. Can you just talk about what it's been like, that roller coaster of emotions as you go into this one?
Yeah, I mean, as a fighter, you want control. You want at least a say or control of your destiny. That's all I was asking for, was to not get looked over or to not get passed by because of politics. Things worked out the way they did, and now I got exactly what I asked for. I get the ultimate say in my destiny, and that's all I ever wanted.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Next question comes from Danny Segura with MMA Junkie.
Hey, Justin, how are you? Quick question for you. Tony has obviously been on an incredible win streak, and he's basically said, this is going to be another title defense for him. Do you see him that way? Do you believe he's almost like the uncrowned champion of the lightweight division?
Yeah, I mean, he fought a huge fight, won that belt, and then they took it from him. So, I didn't agree with it. And yeah, I mean, he got the tough fight. He was, this fight was set up, and because of these unfortunate circumstances, we had to move on. He had to move in a different direction, and luckily, I'm the one that got the call, man. Because again, all I wanted to say, win or lose, max effort. That's all that matters to me. My family will love me. My dog don't give a shit if I win or lose. So yeah, it's max effort, and that's it. That's all that matters.
Yeah. And any concerns you mentioned there, like you didn't agree that you might get the interim title and maybe not get the shot at Khabib, or is that not in your mind?
My life does not exist after May 9th. I don't know, don't care, doesn't matter. I'll figure that out when it's one day at a time for me. I am in control of my thoughts, my emotions, and outside that, I don't have much control of much else.
And a few questions ago, you mentioned how the game has policies. The decision to jump at this opportunity, given the fact that these opportunities don't come around often.
No, you don't ever. There's not very often you're going to get a chance to fight for a world title on the biggest stage in the world. Much less during a pandemic when there's zero sports going on. You're going to be the only one on TV. It was a perfect storm. I say I don't take late replacement fights, but I never say I don't take late replacement championship fights. This is all we fight for as athletes, as fighters. You fight to be number one. You fight to prove that you believe that you're number one. And, you have to face your fears. You got to go out there and take the chances that you got to take when they're presented.
And for Tony, you've been the number one contender for quite some time. I think, if you would have decided to wait for Khabib, I don't think people would have complained about you getting that fight with Khabib. So what was the decision behind taking this fight with Justin? Because Justin is a very game opponent, obviously. And did you ever think of perhaps waiting and taking the Khabib fight later down the line?
I never wait, man. I always take every single opportunity. This one's for not just for myself. It's faith, family, and friends, man. And there's a lot of shit going on in the world, and I'm just trying to do my fucking part. Keep sports alive, and then really just let me refer back to the Ultimate Fighter. There's no bullshit with it. You didn't know who you were going to fight. You fought maybe within 3 days or a week notice or whatever. You didn't know, so you always had to be ready. And it didn't matter who you were going to fight. shit instead of everybody else's stuff. And I'm gonna keep going and doing what I exactly do, and punches, knees, kicks, and elbows, man, and blades and shades all day.
Yeah. And you made headlines because you made weight for the canceled date, April 18th. And then there was some critics saying, like, maybe that's not the smartest thing, making weight and getting that depleted.
Fuck those guys.
What would you say to
a bunch of bitches? You know what? Look, I'm going to be real, dude. Just because they've never wrestled. And even people that make weight had their opinions. But you know what? It doesn't matter. The next time I worry about whatever somebody else is going to do is never, dude. I haven't ever worried about anybody else's opinion. Now everybody's jocking my style and they want to do that kind of shit. That's cool, man. OG, original genius. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do my best. And like I said, I'm going to walk away a man, win or lose. But we're going out there and we're going to get that fucking W.
Yeah.
All day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
Yeah. And I know you obviously wanted to fight the champion Khabib, and that was impossible. But just from that aside, the championship aside, just from a skill standpoint, would you prefer this matchup with Justin Gaethje better than the Khabib one, or do you have a preference on either matchup? Because they're very distinct fighters.
I'm going to be real. Khabib doesn't fucking even exist to me right now. That dude fell off the fucking face of the earth with McNuggets. Those dudes are a bunch of fucking bitches. The only two people that signed on the dotted line are real fucking men. You know what I mean? I called Uncle Dana and I told him I was very proud of him for being able to make sure that this shit fucking goes. Instead of calling him Uncle Dana, I call him bro, man, because he gave me a job at the Ultimate Fighter. And I knocked out Justin Edwards on my birthday, and he said, "Happy birthday, kid." And I told him, that stuck with me, dude. And I was like, I'm still your man. I'm a team player, and teamwork makes the dream work, man. Let's fucking do this shit. Let's make sure that we put some asses in the seats at home at UFC 249 and make sure everybody's social distancing by giving fucking high fives and hugs after I fucking win.
And no one's stupid enough not to watch this fight. I'll tell you that. Everyone's going to be tuning in. They know what we both bring. It's fucking huge for the sport, huge for me, huge for the employees. Oh, man, it's going to be fireworks. There'll be a lot of people watching that.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about that, and this is for both of you guys. What does it feel like to be pretty much the only major sport that's going to go down on Saturday?
Fucking great. Fucking great.
Yeah. Seriously, it's like, I'm going to be real. This is awesome. I mean, you can hear it in both of our voices. There's no bullshit with this. You know, when they had the wars going on and everything else, there was no sport. They only had like the Olympics going on. Right now, there's no Olympics. There's no Wimbledon. There's no NBA drafts. There's no NFL drafts. There's no fucking tennis. There's no soccer, hockey. There's no baseball. This is what we bring to the table, man. And we're going to go out there and do our best. And we're going to fucking keep sports alive. That's what we're going to motherfucking do.
Yeah. This is going to bring a sense of normalcy to people. And, I'm fucking proud to be a part of it. The opportunity to inspire. People need to be inspired right now. They need to emotional because they can't control what's going on right now. We got to ride it through, and they need to be inspired in a way, and we can do that. We have the opportunity.
Thank you, guys. Looking forward to the fight.
Yes, sir.
Our next question comes from Ryan Gerbasi with Newsday.
Thank you. This question's for both of you guys. I know you're both very excited to be in the spotlight of the only competing. But given the health situation, did either of you have any reservations about participating? And are you satisfied with the testing plans the UFC's got in place for this thing? Well, I'll start with Tony.
What was the question again? I wasn't paying attention. I was thinking about UFC 249.
Did you have any reservations about participating in the event? And are you satisfied with the testing plans that the UFC has put in place for the event?
Yeah, I actually went through you fucking scared shitless. I won't tell what name it was, but we went in there and we handled shit like a business. And the testing was interesting. I'll be real. I'm gonna post up a video today, and I don't know if you went through the shit already, but just tickle your brain.
Tomorrow.
Hey.
I'll be going through that tomorrow. Man, I honestly had no reservations. Fighting is very dangerous. So I think we'll be good.
Have you made any Have you made any changes in your travel plans and how you plan to go through everything, getting to the event, and whatnot? Has anything changed?
Wearing a mask. I wish they put us on a private plane, but that didn't happen. So here we go.
I felt like Sub-Zero on the fucking thing. I was walking through everywhere, and I had my shades on and my shit. It felt like Mortal Kombat. Just waiting for that Fight Island, man. That's all we're trying to wait for.
But this is going to be exactly like Mortal Kombat. It's perfect.
Get over here. That's awesome.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
Our next question comes from Mike Heck with MMA Fighting.
Hey guys, Justin, I just had a quick question for you. When this fight was first booked, you had done some interviews and talked about how you felt like it was terrifying with everything going on, that you seemingly had to doubt yourself to sort of give you that extra boost heading into a fight. How would you describe how you're feeling about it 4 days away from your first shot of the UFC title?
Yeah, man, the fear had nothing to do with what was going on. It was the opponent I was facing. I know that this man's a cardio machine, and it's just impossible to get ready in 18 days. I've been very surprised, and it's crazy how my body has responded with the extra time. And right now, man, we're only scared if you're worried about winning or losing. That's not a factor here. I care about effort and the fact that people know that, and they'll never quit. Never quit. If people see you quit, then you can't inspire people. I'm there to go as hard as I fucking can for as long as I can. And I got the perfect opponent right there, man. He is a cardio machine. So it's going to be absolutely impossible to be ready for 25 minutes. With the 5 weeks I've had now, I'm 100% confident. And yeah, man, I'm ready. I need my nose broken, so hopefully one of them, I haven't been able to breathe through my nose for like 12 years since wrestling. So hopefully one of them elbows cracks my nose. The UFC's got to pay for that shit. And it's an exciting ass fight. That's all.
Okay. Insurance.
Tony, sort of because you've been doing this for a long time, and you went through the Ultimate Fighter, and you've gone through all these different things to get to the point you're at right now. Do you still need to find something to carry as a chip on your shoulder heading into these fights, or does the fight itself just motivate you enough, along with just being one of the greatest in the division?
You remember when I said that shit? I don't have a chip on my shoulder, but I have a chip on my shoulder. It's kind of one of those double negative kind of things. And this is an athlete sport. I'm gonna be real. I don't bring any hate into the sport except when I'm fighting. But we have another athlete who's game. He's Olympic caliber, and we're going to go out there. And like I said, man, I'm not going to try to be lame and say we're going to do our best and do 150% and everything else like that. But who fucking raw, man? We're going to go out there and we're going to do a fucking show, dude. I mean, literally, it doesn't matter.
There will be a war. There will be a war, and the people will fucking love it.
We're going to go out there. And we're
Tony,
gonna
also,
business, man, and we're going to take hands. And I'm going to hold on. I'm still talking, brother. Just kidding, man. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's no hate here. There's a lot of respect between both of you guys. You guys kind of know what you're up against. You're going to go in there and you're going to go to war for as long as the fight takes place. But how refreshing is that for you, just knowing that you're going to go into a fight with a guy who's just as game as you are, that's just as fired up as you are, and there's no hatred or BS to be thrown around here in terms of headlines and clicks and things like that.
That's why we're main eventing, man. That's why everybody else, and we got other people fighting on the undercard. I'm going to be real. We don't have to refer back long, and we're the best of the best, and we're top five. We're gonna go in there and we're gonna do exactly what we do, and that's fucking throwing fucking bows, bro.
Justin, is this outside of the title implications from a competitive standpoint? Is this the most enthused and fired up you've been for a fight outside of the main event and the title implications?
Yeah, I mean, after I think it was my Vic win, I said I wanted to fight Tony because I know, man. We're both some very fucking special people when it comes to being able to be comfortable when adrenaline is coursing through your veins. That is not something that is natural. That is something that has been learned, been worked on. And that feeling when it's going through my veins, it's the best drug on earth. I'm telling you right now, it's the feeling of being in a life or death situation and being able to actually be comfortable there. There's nothing like it, man. And I know that he is the same way. And I knew one of them. We're probably going to get one of us. Probably going to get two bonuses. We're both getting one bonus, and I fight for money. So this is, and at the time when I said that, I was shooting to be the most exciting fighter in the world, and Tony is the best opponent to bring that out of me.
Right.
All the best, you guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll take our next question from Alistair Hendry with Fighters Only.
Just a quick question. I noticed that you made your pro debut a month after Ferguson made his UFC debut, so it seems crazy how quickly you've come up. But when you were coming up on Raging the Cage and World Series of Fighting, how much of a fan were you of Tony Ferguson?
You saying he signed with the UFC a month before I did?
No, he. A month after Ferguson made his UFC debut.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Man, it's fucking awesome. It's surreal. I've always looked at it as one fight at a time. I never looked ahead. I never saw myself here. But, it's a testament to hard work. I've worked since I was 4 years old. And luckily this became an option and a career path. And I was fucking born, bred, raised to be exactly where I'm at right now in hindsight. But yeah, it's surreal when you look back. I think I'll really enjoy looking back on the career and how fast or how slow or how bad or how good it all went. But that can't happen until it's over. Right now it has to be one day at a time, one fight at a time. This sport is too dangerous to look ahead.
Of course, and in terms of social distancing, how much have you been able to see Trevor Whitman, or is it just a case of video calls and phone calls at the time, or before in the last couple of weeks? How often have you been able to see him?
Luckily, I have a private gym, so I've seen him every single day. I do all my wrestling there. I do all my boxing, all my privates with my coaches there. There's been no problem. My life has not changed one bit since it started. I live by myself, so that's pretty easy. I've been in isolation for.
Don't know.
It is.
Sure, and I noticed you said something really interesting in the Countdown show. You said that when you were a lot younger, before you got into MMA, you were quite keen to be a social worker. What kind of got you into thinking about that career?
The biggest thing was having the parents that I have. I have amazing.
Give us
how lucky I am for that. It's not something that is given to every person, and it's something that that we don't all get. And so when I understood this, I thought if I could be that positive influence for one kid, much less 100. Now with this platform, I can reach much more. But in my mindset, it was like, I was lucky enough to have that, and I owe it to at least a child to try and be a positive influence or try and change the negative connotations that they have on life.
Cool, great, thanks. So I've got one question for Tony as well. In terms of entertainment value for the fans, would you say Gaethje is the most exciting replacement for Khabib you could have asked for?
Justin's a game opponent, man. I'm lifting weights right now. I'm gonna be real. I'm not worried about what he's bringing to the table.
Miscellaneous.
The basics, and it's a grunt lifestyle. I'm gonna be real, man. No comment after that. I don't give a fuck about Khabib or, like I said, McNugget too. These guys are a bunch of bitches. Tiramisu Tuesday, McNugget Monday stays, and we got Gaethje, man, and I can't wait till Sunday morning.
Excellent, cool. Thanks for your time, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And that's all the time we have for questions. I'll turn the call back to Lene for additional remarks.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Lauren. And I would like to thank Tony, Justin, and everyone else for joining today's call. Please stay tuned for more information on UFC 249 over the course of the week. And a reminder, following 249, UFC continues with fight nights on May 13th and 16th from Jacksonville. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day.